He said she died by suicide, but the evidence told a different story and pointed investigators straight back to her husband. Today's case is still ongoing, so everything we say is alleged. We'll tell you the case of Ellie Shea. Welcome to Love and Murder, Heartbreak to Homicide, your Florida Man Friday edition. We are Kai's AI co-hosts. I'm AI Jane, along with Jensen and Jessica, bringing you the victims' stories every Wednesday and Friday. Listen to this case all the way to the end, and if you like our retelling, then subscribe. You can also subscribe on our Patreon for free, patreon.com/loveandmurder. But if you want to get bonus episodes, avoid the intro and commercials and, most importantly, help support the victims' stories being told, then choose a bonus tier, starting at just $3 a month, and join the Lamb Fam. Patreon.com/loveandmurder. We look forward to seeing you there. Now, let's get into this Florida Man Friday. On October 14th, 2024, just after 2 p.m., deputies from the Orange County Sheriff's Office responded to a 911 call from a home in Orlando, Florida. Inside the bedroom, they found 39-year-old Eloilda Ellie Shea with a gunshot wound to the head. A gun lay on her chest. Her husband, 49-year-old Anthony Shea, a recently retired sergeant from the same department, claimed to have returned home with their 2 young daughters to find his wife dead. Investigators saw several clues that pointed to suicide: the position of the weapon, no signs of forced entry, and a series of text messages from Ellie's phone. Also, Anthony showed police what he described as a suicide note that allegedly matched Ellie's handwriting. And he claimed that Ellie had shown suicidal tendencies in the past. Detective Sarah Martinez remembered the methodical process of evidence collection.
Everything appeared straightforward at first: the gun placement, the wound characteristics. However, standard protocol requires us to process every death investigation thoroughly, regardless of how it initially presents.
Ellie had worked at the Orange County Sheriff's Office since 2011 and had risen to the rank of lieutenant. Once, Ellie's quick thinking during a dangerous incident in 2016 saved lives. When convicted murderer Jose Torres managed to slip his handcuffs and get firearms, she immediately took action that prevented any deputies from being killed. This demonstrated her courage and changed departmental safety procedures. Sheriff John Mina said that he had planned to appoint her as his next staff director. Ellie was described by her department as a mentor and protector who lit up every room. Detective Martinez said,
"She was a mentor, teacher, advocate, protector, cheerleader, and an inspiration to women aspiring to be leaders. She was a loving mommy of 2 little girls, ages 7 and 2, and she served her community with grace, integrity, and pride. Her death is a devastating loss for the OCSO. She will be profoundly missed."
Anthony also had a history with the OCSO, joining in October 2006 and retiring as a sergeant in August of this year. His resignation came, quote, while under investigation for allegations that would have resulted in his termination. Anthony was under internal investigation for having an intimate relationship while on duty or having intercourse on duty. On the day Ellie died, detectives began the process of evidence collection. Detective Martinez said,
"In cases involving law enforcement officers, we implement additional protocols. The victim's status as a lieutenant within our own agency required extreme care in preserving evidence integrity and maintaining investigation independence."
What started as a suicide investigation quickly changed as forensic evidence pointed to murder. Anthony claimed that,
"We had a bad night last night, arguing about my affair.
He said Ellie needed space, so he left with their 2 daughters to go to Publix. He said that when he came back, he
Opened the unlocked bedroom and discovered Eloilda Shea on the bed in a pool of blood.
He claimed he began CPR and called 911. But detectives noticed he had blood on his arms and forearms, and they watched him wash it off in the kitchen sink. His hands were also red and swollen, a possible indication of a recent physical altercation. They found blood-stained gloves in the washer and dryer. After that, Anthony withdrew his initial consent for a full search of the home. Investigators also found that Anthony was likely using Ellie's phone to send messages to himself. These messages gave a false impression that Ellie was alive and communicating while Anthony was away from home. Forensic analysis showed that Ellie's actual last message was sent earlier that morning when she texted her workplace calling in sick. Anthony even accidentally activated a recording on Ellie's phone. That audio captured about 54 minutes of activity. In it, you can hear Anthony telling one of the kids that their mother was sleeping. This was about 40 minutes before he called 911. Although the sound of a gunshot wasn't heard in the recording, it does capture Anthony returning to the bedroom and remaining in the room for about 50 seconds before calling 911. It does not show him trying to help Ellie in any way, and he, quote, does not become emotional or react to his wife's condition until a dispatcher answers 911. Security cameras showed Anthony driving to Publix with the children about 40 minutes after the shooting. During the shopping trip, he was calm and even stopped to buy a lottery ticket. This footage, coupled with the audio recording, enabled detectives to construct a timeline that contradicted Anthony's version of events. Investigators determined he had established an alibi through digital devices and surveillance video while providing misinformation to the police.
Anthony Shea attempted to mislead detectives by establishing an alibi and providing a motive for suicide. The investigation determined Anthony Shea's actions were organized and premeditated.
Also, although Anthony had said that Ellie had been suicidal when investigators interviewed her friends and colleagues, they all described her as resilient and focused on her children's future. As the investigation continued, more disturbing details came out. This wasn't the first time Anthony had faced allegations of abuse. In 2012, his ex-wife Nancy Shea filed for a protective order saying,
I am afraid of what he can do to me. He has told me he wishes and wants 10 men to rape me.
A year later, she filed another petition, this time alleging verbal abuse toward their 5 children. According to the affidavit, Ellie had also searched on her phone.
I'm a cop, and my husband sexually assaulted me.
Anthony told detectives they had sex the night before she died. Finally, on October 18, 2024, Anthony was arrested and charged with first-degree murder. He was held with no bond. On November 20th, a grand jury formally indicted Anthony on charges of first-degree murder with a firearm and tampering with evidence in a capital proceeding.
He had a pretrial on February 3, 2025. If the court determines there's enough evidence, a murder trial will follow. Legal experts anticipate a lengthy trial process that could extend well into next year. If convicted of first-degree murder in Florida, Anthony could face life in prison without parole or potentially even the death penalty with the capital nature of the proceeding. The evidence tampering charge carries additional penalties that could ensure he never walks free again. So far, there are no updates to the case. Meanwhile, Ellie's 2 daughters are left without a mother. The Orange County Sheriff's Office said, "We are grappling with shock, grief, and guilt."
She deserved better. And now, the justice system will decide what comes next for the man accused of taking her life. What do you think about this case? Why do you think it's taking so long to find out if this will go to trial? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. And that's all we have for this Friday. If you want to get bonus episodes, early access to everything, and a community of lambs who believe in helping me get the victim's story told, then sign up to be part of the Lamb Fam, patreon.com/loveandmurder. Thanks for listening, thanks for your time, and thanks for your support. Kai will see you in Monday's case.